My name is Dr.Adrienne Robek, and I'm a behavioral psychologist. I have a PhD in psychology with a specialization in autism and developmental disabilities. I'm also a board-certified behavior analyst. I don't have any personal ties to autism, but when I was an undergrad at university, one of the professors in my department was doing research on autism, and I thought it was very interesting, so I joined his lab, and I just decided to stay with it. Autism is a neurological disorder, and for most people that have autism, it affects all areas of functioning. It affects their language, their cognitive skills, their communication abilities, their ability to take care of themselves, self-help skills, their motor skills, and obviously their social-emotional skills. Autism, it's a spectrum disorder, and so the three areas that we talk about within the autism spectrum are mild, moderate, and severe. Most people that I've seen over the last 20-something years, they fall into the moderate to severe end of the spectrum. So as far as the prevalence of autism in Qatar, there was a study done by Dr. Fuad Al-Shaban at Hamad bin Khalifa University. It was published in 2019, and he just took a sample of the population. He looked at children ages 6 to 11, and he found that the prevalence of autism within that group was 1.14% of the population. Now, that's a little bit lower than what we have in the United States. In the United States, in 2018, the Centers for Disease Control published some statistics saying that the prevalence is 2.3% of the population that has autism. I think the reason for that discrepancy is probably because in this region there is still a very strong stigma around autism and other kind of developmental disabilities. So parents are not as willing to come forward and have their child assessed. And if the child is not assessed, if the child is not getting services for any kind of delays, it's going to be very difficult for researchers to account for that. I think the biggest misconception is that people with autism don't want anybody near them. Some of them don't, but I think that's a pretty small percentage of the autism population. Most of them are okay being around other people. They don't mind it. Many of them want to engage with other people. They want friends. They just don't really know how to do it. They don't understand social nuances. They have difficulty with language. And so even though they want to interact with other people, they just don't know how to do it. I work at the Child Development Center for Special Needs in West Bay, and basically we call it the Autism Journey. We don't just diagnose children and then send them on their way and hope for the best. We try to provide support to the family, we provide assessments, and then once we determine what the child's strengths and weaknesses are, we can provide therapy based on the child's needs. So if a parent is unsure that their child might need extra help, even if it's not autism, even if it's just maybe a speech delay, let's say that the teachers at school or at nursery have suggested to the parents that the child might need some extra help, that they might have some sort of a delay, my advice to the parents is don't wait. Because I know it's not an easy process to go through, it's very difficult, it's very scary, but if the child does need help, the longer you wait, the more difficult it's going to be for that child to catch up. So if you catch a child at, let's say, 18 months of age or 2 years of age, the gap between that child and its peers is not that big. If you wait until the child is 3 or 4 years old, at that point, even if you get them therapy, they will improve, but the results are not going to be nearly as significant as they would be if you started at a younger age, because the peers are learning things very, very quickly every day. Every single day they're learning many, many new things. And if your child is learning at a much slower rate, it's going to catch up with them at some point, and it's going to make life much more difficult if you wait to get them help.